After 6 years of experiments, gimmicks, and one snow-delayed disaster, NASCAR finally made the call the fans have been begging for. The Clash is coming home to Daytona. It's official. The 2027 preseason exhibition will run on the famous 2.5-mile Daytona Oval on a Saturday night. Mark your calendars, y'all. February 13th. Kicking off Speedweeks the way it did for 4 decades. This ends a wild detour that took the sport's traditional opener from the high banks of Daytona to a parking lot track inside the LA Coliseum that no one called for. And then, hey, let's rally up the fan base with a little tight bullring Bowman Gray Stadium, the madhouse. Some of it was thrilling, some of it was a mess. And this year, Mother Nature basically took a big dump on NASCAR's plans and handed them a snowstorm. Now, today we're going to be breaking down why the Clash left in the first place and why it is finally returning and whether this is a permanent homecoming or just the next chapter. To appreciate why this matters, you have to remember what the Clash used to be. It debuted in 1979 as the Busch Clash, a short, high-stakes sprint that served as an appetizer for the Daytona 500, and it stayed a Daytona fixture for more than 40 years. Under a rotating list of sponsorship. It's soaked in history, and fittingly, Dale Earnhardt still holds the all-time record with 6 Clash victories. For generations, the Clash and Daytona Speedweeks were inseparable. Then NASCAR decided to blow it up, and honestly, you have to understand why. An interest in Speedweek version cooled down. The sanctioning body got bold. In 2022, it moved the entire event across country to a purpose-built quarter-mile track inside the LA Coliseum, chasing a new market and a primetime spectacle. It was a swing for the fences. Keep in mind, you cannot deny the fact that the Clash sucked for so many years. It was a bad race. There was one race where it ended because it started pouring out of nowhere in turn 1 and 2 and basically the whole damn field wrecked. So that's where we went. Now, from there, the experiment kept going. In 2025, the Clash moved again, this time to Bowman Gray Stadium, the tight quarter-mile bull ring known as the Madhouse. It had a bunch of rednecks wrecking each other after the race. That track had not hosted a Cup event since 1971, and to be fair, the first Bowman Gray running was a genuine hit, a sellout with Chase Elliott dominating. The novelty, it worked that night, but 2026 is where the wheels came off, and it had nothing to do with actual racing. To be fair to NASCAR and Bowman Gray Stadium, heavy snow and ice slammed the event, forcing multiple postponements until it finally rained 3 days later, with Ryan Preece emerging as the winner. That mess exposed the obvious risk of staging a marquee event outdoors in North Carolina in the dead of winter, and it clearly weighed on NASCAR's decision. That is the practical half of the story. Daytona in mid-February's offer something Winston-Salem simply cannot. Reliable Florida weather that has a built-in electricity, a full Speedweeks programming. And when your season opener keeps getting buried with problems, whether it was weather in LA or snow out in Bowman Gray, the Sunshine State starts to look more appealing. Very appealing, in fact. There is business wrinkle worth mentioning here because it shows this was always coming. Officials in Winston-Salem understood the Clash was never a permanent tenant. Their agreement with NASCAR was built around hosting one sanctioned event a year to help fund stadium upgrades, and local leaders openly acknowledging the back half of that deal was likely to be some other NASCAR event, not the Clash. In other words, both knew this day would be coming. So we now look at what 2027 restores. Can anyone else agree that it's absolutely mind-boggling that we're almost in 2027? The fact that we're saying 2027 is just, it's nutso to me. Now, the Clash runs Saturday night, February 13th, one day before the Super Bowl and 8 days before the 69th running of the Daytona 500, anchoring a complete Classic Speedweeks slate, qualifying the dual sported races and the 500 itself. That is the rhythm longtime fans grew up on and has been missing from the main oval since 2020. Now, my take is this is the right call, but LA Coliseum and Bowman Gray eras were not failures. They were simply a sign that NASCAR was willing to take risks to grow, something in which had not been done for a while. Can we all agree that the cookie cutter racetracks and the cookie cutter ovals sucked? No one wants to see Michigan twice a year. What are we doing? Now, the lesson is not that experiments are bad. It's that the Daytona Oval with the new super speedway package on the way gives the Clash the best of both worlds. It gives you tradition and a real shot at a great show. If that package delivers, this is the homecoming that could be a great preview of the 500 itself. Keep in mind, NASCAR is going to be running a new Aero's package, a new super speedway package. Basically, it's designed to cut down on the fuel saving aspect of the races that we've been given, and hopefully the opportunity to pass, because NASCAR racing at Talladega and Daytona is a little rough to watch. It's gridlocked, you can't pass, you can't get runs, right? Basically, and the whole race, everyone's saving fuel and trying not to wreck until like the last 20, 30, 40 laps. Then everybody just goes balls to the wall and just loses their mind trying to pass everyone. That's what Daytona is. That's what Talladega is. I think Daytona and the Clash go hand in hand together. I respect NASCAR's chance to go out there and try something new. But at the same time, though, you have something that, look, you're in Daytona for a week. Like, I love the fact that they are looking at it and going, look, we're not going to put it a week before the Super Bowl, or in the last few years, 2 weeks before the Daytona 500. No. What we're going to do is, hey, we respect that the Super Bowl is on Sunday. Screw it. We're just not going to, we're not going to worry about that. But we're going to stay with tradition. And I like the fact that you, as a fan, because most people are going to watch the Super Bowl, right? It's the most watched sporting event every year. Most fans go, if you're a NASCAR fan, oh, well, wait, I'm going to get so I'm going to get NASCAR early still. I'm going to get Speedweeks back. They're going to be down in Daytona, and maybe this opens up more practice and qualifying. So you're going to get so you're going to get practice on Friday or Saturday morning, whatever they choose. And then you get the race Saturday night. You get qualifying for the 500 on Sunday. That night you get the Super Bowl, and then you wait till Thursday and you get the duels, and then you start getting all the practice. And then on Friday you get practice, and Friday night you get the trucks, and then Saturday you get practice, and then Saturday afternoon you get the O'Reilly Series, and boom, 500, and then you're off to the races. I think most people like that about Speedweeks, and I think the fact that they're going to be running around the Super Bowl is pretty badass. Let me know in the comments here below what do you think, and I'll see you on the next video.